Speaking of hard and speaking of something that's hopefully helps people not be frustrated, talk to me about you have a class you just created recently. It's the Homestead Lock-Picking Course. What is
Right.
that? Dive
So
into that and how does that benefit people?
I I love and hate that this skill set is so either misunderstood or not even known of.
Mhm.
And people just see people picking locks, and it's relegated usually to two roles: locksmiths and super spies on TV. That's it. And I love that it's so unique and it's so specialized because that kind of gives it a little power boost. Like, oh, this is really valuable. But it also sucks trying to sell a really good idea to people that don't know what that idea is. It just doesn't compute. So our first video course was shot super high definition with basically a TV film crew. It's called Tactical Lockpicking 101. We host it on the Teachable platform, and it's like attending one of my 2-day courses, just one-on-one with me teaching to the camera. And we've gotten just a ton of great feedback for that. And that's a good option for people that can't make it out to our in-person course. We launched another course, and we shot this one in-house. So we separated it from that first course, just because all of the video quality, the audio quality, the editing was done in-house. It's still very good, and I don't think there's anything else on the market that competes with it. But just like you could decide to learn a few things about your car, but you don't have to be a mechanic or take a mechanics class, you can do a lot of things for your own keyed and lock system, and you don't have to be a locksmith. A lot of the knowledge is publicly accessible. A lot of the tools are publicly accessible. They're not restricted. You don't have to put in a super secret ID in order to purchase items online. So we put together a nice boiled down list of, if you want to take control of your locked access systems on your property, maybe in your business property, on your homestead, or if you maybe operationally, whatever your professional job is, we said, okay, what do people need to know? Well, they need to know about troubleshooting. So if you get a key stuck in a lock, how do you solve that? If you forget a code to a combo lock, how do you solve that? If you want to rekey something, so take the old key that works, adjust the lock so that only the new key works. How can you do that? So we boiled this stuff down into a couple of video lessons, and we call it the Homestead Locksmith. So it's not a course that will certify you in locksmithing, but it's a way that you can, if it fits your application method, like if you live in an apartment and only have one locked door and it's your perimeter outside door, you might not get a lot out of this course. But if you run a homestead and you have a couple little sheds and you have your front gate, maybe if you have volunteers and some sort of business on site, that's a big deal. Because every single time you call a locksmith to your property, with rare exception, you're looking at least $100 to $200 just for them to show up. And especially if it's an emergency and if they have to use a power tool to break something and to reinstall something, 200, 300, 400, it adds up really quick. So we're pricing it super low. I think it's going to be under $100 for the course. It's going to launch this weekend, but all the video footage is up. And we'll probably put some more lessons up there as time goes by. We see either new technology or updates. So it's an ever-evolving course. But I think especially for the homesteader or the prepper, you can use it to leverage a little better security in your life with some concepts to consider. There's one block that we filmed called "What Does Your Fence or Your Gate Say About Your Homestead?" So this is a drill you can do for free. Just as you're driving through your own town or driving across the country or whatever, just look around and go, oh, there's a fence. Ooh, what is that telling me? And there's some fences that you can see through and some that you can't. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, if it's a used car lot, they want you to see the cars, but they also don't want people climbing over the fence when the business is closed. Okay, so the fence is kind of high. There's some barbed wire maybe. Okay, so they don't want people climbing the fence. Got it. People in your neighborhood might have really expensive, really pretty fences, but they want you to see their beautiful house behind it. So they just did a couple steel bars. They painted them black. You could crawl right through them. Okay, so that's probably not to keep people out, but you're definitely not driving your vehicle through it. So, okay, that fence says that about that property. And then you can shift and go, ooh, what does our fence or lack of a fence say about our property? So if you want that edge on security, you can play with that and go, well, I don't want people coming here and abducting my children. Okay, but I do want my neighbors to be able to see my house. Okay, so what options do I have? Maybe we don't have kids. Maybe it's just me and my wife or just me. And maybe I just don't like people. Okay, so maybe I want a tall fence that you can't see through, but I also just don't want people to know I'm here. So maybe I cover it with ivy and they can't even see the fence. They just see brush. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that fits me. So then you're just starting to think about the way that your security systems interact with each other.
Yeah.
And things like, should I choose a padlock that has a code on it or a padlock that has a key? We did a block on that. What's the difference? Well, if you have the key, then whoever has the key can get in. But if you lose the key, you can't get in at all. Well, okay, well, a combo lock, I can always get in. I don't need to carry a key. That's great. Yeah, but anybody off the street can walk up and just try buttons, and they'll eventually get it if they wait long enough. Oh, crap. Okay, well, you can share your key with someone, but that takes a lot of effort. And so most locks only come with 1 or 2 keys. So what if you need a third one? Okay, well, if I'm sharing access, yeah, a combo lock probably works better because then I can tell someone the combo. I don't need to hand them the key. That's easy. So a lot of people, I file this under the category of things you know that you didn't know that you know. And I love those lessons anytime I can identify that. And then we did, of course, how to take a lock apart, how to repin it, rekey it, and how to put that back into your working system. And that's really, even if it's just, I mean, a lot of homesteaders, or maybe you're a rancher or homesteader or a business owner, and maybe you have like 10 or 20 keys on your key ring, and maybe you hate that. Okay, well, rekey some of your locks together so that one key opens up a bunch of locks. Boom, problem solved. So little things like that of just knowing that you can control your locked access systems, I think is a really big win, especially in the preparedness and in the self-sufficiency world where there's an easy onboarding level. You can start doing this stuff today. You don't need a PhD. You can go online, you can order the tools, and when they get there, you can open it and you can start making progress. Very low barrier to entry and low cost to get involved on the low end. And if you struggle, there's lots of free resources online. The lock entry community, as far as I've seen, has been very, very, very helpful and very outright with their information, publicly accessible. Most of it's free. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a niche that not a lot of people know about. And I think that gives it a lot of power too. And even if it's not money, even if it's not time, even if it's not security updates, just being the person that understands how to gain entry through lock systems without the key or the code can be a huge benefit to the people in your community. And I like it because you can spend your whole life going to rifle course after rifle course after rifle course. You could drive a rifle just like a monster. Great. Mm-hmm. And you may never, ever, ever pull the trigger and shoot somebody. It doesn't mean your rifle training was wasted, but just mathematically, doing the thing has given you zero return on that investment. But when you take a lock entry course and you realize how easy it is to access lock security, mm-hmm. and you leverage that for your friends or family or your community, that's a big deal. That's like, oh my God, you saved the day. And that doesn't require the end of the world, and it doesn't require a gunfight, and it doesn't even require like a tornado to happen for you to save the day. That's just regular life stuff that will make you just a more valuable human as far as the things that you can give to others for services.
I like that. I think it sounds like it really helps people focus on their home security, or maybe not even just focus on their home security, better understand their home security. The 5 Ds of home security starts with, you have to outline your perimeter. Where's my perimeter? And then you look at everything from there in, and how do you make, with deter, detect, delay, deny, and defend kind of stuff, right? So, how do you look at that? And I don't think people really, I think people play a lot of lip service to that, just kind of like, I know my perimeter and this is what it is. And then it gets back to the rifle. I'll defend, right? Kind of thing. But if you can look at your locks and everything else, that's where you get into that deterrence. I have a trailer out in my driveway here, a utility trailer. And at my old house, when I was living in Georgia, between myself and a roommate I had, we had 3 trailers stolen out of our driveway. So now, like with my trailer here, I got a hitch lock on it. Mm-hmm. I have a padlock on it. I have two I think two of the wheel chocks. I have a cable around the wheel. So if somebody looks at it, it's like, oh, it's going to take me a while to steal this trailer. And hopefully that deters someone from messing around my driveway very long. But I think that your course can benefit people in that way, just a better way to look at their homes.